YouTube is going, and I'm going to open it up. And I'm closing my mic.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Board of Estimate and Apportionment for the final vote out for approval of the FY 2021 annual operating plan. It's Monday, April 27th at 2:30 p.m. Ms. Stephanie, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Cruzen.
I'm here.
Comptroller Green. Comptroller Green.
Here.
President Reed.
Here.
All present.
Thank you. Thank you very much. There's only one item before us today, and it's item number 20.096. It's a request from the Budget Director for approval of the FY 2021 proposed budget and personnel schedules with proposed amendments, and to submit and recommend Board Bill number 1 to the Board of Aldermen as the budget for the City of St. Louis for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2020. And with that, if it's acceptable to everyone, I'm going to turn this over to Paul to walk us through the amendments. Paul, I can't hear you. I think you might be.
There we go. I think we're open now.
All right, here
we go.
Madam Mayor, would you like me to make a motion and second it to get it before us to be?
Good idea.
All right. I move that we adopt item number 1.
Second.
All in favor of adopting item number 1?
No,
All in favor of discussing item number 1?
Yeah,
Let's have discussion.
I think we're good now, and then we just have to wait for Paul to do the.
Okay, Paul.
Okay. Thank you all. What you have before you is a 4-page document, some itemizing some amendments to the proposal we submitted last week. The first item on page 1 actually is just a technical correction. It's Fund 1116, which is a miscellaneous special fund for the Employee Pension Trust Fund. That is just a pass-through account. It's more about revenues and expenditures. The revenues have been estimated at $6.5 million, but we also have a corresponding line item for that, and it wasn't changed to reflect that 6.5, which it was still last year's number at 7.9. So while it looks like a big drop, that's $1.4 million. It actually is a big drop in revenue. It's just a technical correction to make sure that the budget reflects the reduction. On the other series of changes, there are 2A. I've got 7 related, 2A through 2G. And these next series are basically, the intent is to restore the $1 million for crime prevention funds under Department 610. And I'll walk you through these a little bit. This is Fund 1123, which is a public safety sales tax fund. In that budget, we had proposed reallocating some funds out of the crime prevention programs to fund juvenile placements and drug court subsidy. Well, this would reverse that. So in the first 2A is reversing those, reducing the circuit court placements and circuit drug court subsidy, and then increasing professional services by $951,000. So that nets out to 0. And then 2B and 2C are putting those dollar amounts back into the general fund. There was a reduction actually corresponding with the courts, is that they did reduce their drug court subsidy by about $50,000. So I did take that reduction. And then we're looking for ways, now that that amount was moved back to general fund, ways for reducing the general fund to balance out. So in citywide accounts, I've got a number of just various reductions here. Membership fees, that would be to our FY19 spending level. Refuse collection fee costs is close to actually last year's level as well. And then the subsidy for the assessor, looking at what the fund balance might be and what they're spending this year. I think we can eke out more there. So there's a $170,000 reduction there. In the Convention and Tourism Fund, we did have, we had $30,000 for the Grand Center subsidy. This reduces that to $30,000 total. So that would, and so what that does, that increases the amount that would be available to go into general revenues. That's $30,000. And then finally, on the circuit attorney, this was one of the reductions that we had on the contingency list. It was about a $500,000. This is for a reduction of $700,000. That would utilize unspent Prop P funds to offset some general fund costs. And so that would make the general fund balance. So all in all, the general fund goes up by $30,000 in all these transactions, with the $30,000 being covered by that C&T money transfers. And then on the special funds, you can see the corresponding increase in Fund 1125 for the Circuit Attorney's budget of $700,000. And then on the separately from that, we have two others related to PDA, the Planning and Urban Design. One was this is item number 3 on page 3. This is a swap of a position adding a program manager and deleting a community development planner too. So that was some changes there to make that balance out. And then finally, under the Economic Development Sales Tax Fund, and also under Planning and Urban Design, there was a request to increase the economic development strategy, which had been zeroed out. And so this money that was in the line item called Strategic Plan Update of $350,000 was moved up. And then we're also appropriating $400,000 that is not planned to be spent this year into that line item as well. So that would be a net increase of $400,000 for Fund 1124. On page 4, you see the summary of changes. Again, the general fund up 30,000, C&T fund balanced out to 0. The miscellaneous special funds, that's down, but that was a technical correction of $1,004,000. Public safety sales tax, that was a net 0. Economic development sales tax was up $400,000, and the public safety sales tax 2, which is Prop P, was up $700,000 for a net increase of $267,816 in all funds. And that is the extent of the proposed amendments for today.
So I have one other proposed amendment, if it's appropriate. Maybe we should vote on this first one first and then go to other additional items.
What was the first one? All of that Paul just spoke of.
Yeah.
That
It's number 1.
Number 1 amendment.
Let's
I
vote
move-
on that.
Yeah, I move that we adopt Amendment 1 as outlined by the Budget Director.
Second.
Oh, question. Paul, you said this was a net increase of all funds or a net decrease of all funds?
It was a net decrease when you take it all. On page 4 is a summary of the changes per fund.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, I believe, from initially. All in favor of adopting item number 1, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Mr. President? Aye.
No, I said it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'll speak up next.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one other item that I'd like to propose here. And that is that I'd like to propose that we take $1 million from the fund balance reserve account, which is account number 5190, and put it instead into the Affordable Housing Trust Fund to bring that up to $6 million. And I know that that's a very difficult one. It's written down here, and I think we just emailed it to you, but I know that's difficult, but we know how much we need to have additional money into the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. And I'm a big proponent of building our fund balance reserves as well. But this is a matter of just balancing out what we can put in this year in the fund balance reserve and taking $1 million instead and using it for affordable housing. So
I would second that motion if you're making the motion.
so I move that this would be item number 2, that we take $1 million out of the fund balance that's in this year's budget and put it over into affordable housing.
Second.
Question.
Yep. Yes, Madam Comptroller.
$1 million going into the Affordable Housing Trust Fund to bring it up to its $6 million, I do support. However, I think a better place to take it out would be MSI.
That's fair. We have 112 people at MSI today, and we've cut the MSI budget down to, Paul, what's the exact number? 7.5 million, I think. So it's cut by 50, maybe it's 8 million, cut by 50%. You know, we don't want to take everybody from MSI and scrunch them together at CJC during a COVID crisis. So that's why I took it from the fund balance, but I'm certainly in favor of reducing MSI as much as possible. Are there any other comments? Questions? Okay, so if there are no other comments or questions, if there are, I'm certainly happy to discuss this. Then I think we have a motion and a second to adopt item number 2, which takes $1 million from the fund balance and puts it into the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I want to say aye, but I did have a question before that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I really think that when we receive the federal dollars, that we will look at it so that we can make sure there's rent relief. Just because we're adding this money to affordable housing should not relieve us of using the federal dollars for what they have been meant for. Also, I believe we have an opportunity to look at some dollars that may have already been received in this fiscal year for CDBG. There are emergency provisions that would help to reallocate those dollars. I don't know if someone, Madam Mayor, from your administration have been on that and making sure that that emergency relief for the possibly coming from CDA or other areas have been reallocated because certainly that's upon us to do. We need to look at all relief for rent relief and other affordable housing measures during this time. Because as you know, this money for affordable housing goes to fix many of the issues that will occur because of this pandemic. It's only an additional 1 million, but the main idea is to capture as much relief as possible. And if we don't take the time to look at where we have CDBG probably for some new projects that are not as dire now because of this pandemic, someone who's already in a home next to somebody else that's getting ready to build a new one, it would be quite unfair if we were letting those CDBG dollars go to building right next to somebody that may be needing to be set out because of them being not able to pay their rent. So I wanted to make that real clear. This $1 million means a lot, but what would be in addition and meaning a lot more is what we can do with dollars that are right now available for us to look at. The reallocation of the CDBG dollars that have been proposed for CDA needs to be looked at very seriously.
I want to just say that I second that thought, and I agree with you 100%. I think we need to do rental assistance. I also think we need to do utility assistance. You know, we have a really good program through Heat Up, Cool Down. I think, but hopefully that will be able to come through either CDBG or ESG or the money that we're hoping to get from the state. Now that's not quite figured out yet, the state money, but we're working on that as we speak. So I think, you know, we'll be back together and talking about all of those things. And I agree with you 100%.
Thank you. So my vote is aye.
Aye, thank you. Okay, amendment number 2 then passes as well. Is there anything further?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I think we probably need to retake that vote because there was a discussion in the middle
Okay.
of the vote, which is like,
Confusing.
which is something that
Okay,
we just
okay.
do that.
We have a motion and a second for amendment number 2, which is to take $1 million from the fund balance and put it into the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. So all in favor of passing this? Aye.
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 Thank you. That's more
Madam
clear.
Mayor, can I make a correction just to give it item number 2 and give it official number, which is
Yes.
20.097?
Okay, 20.097. Okay, thank you. All right. Thank you all. Is there any other discussion or are we going to send this over to the Board of Aldermen with,
I move that we adopt the budget as amended.
Second.
all in favor of adopting the budget as amended? Aye.
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 Perfect. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks for your help. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn this session of the Board of E&A.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Good. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Tony, thank you for your
Thank you.
help, and Stephanie, thank you for your help as well. Appreciate it.
All right, Paul, I'll see you on the other side at the board.
Will do, Mr.
You
President.
just
Bye,
can't
all.
wait, can you? See.